why it sucks to be born a sea turtle.
I was born not in the warmth of a nest, nor in the arms of a loving mother. I emerged from an egg, buried in stagnant water, among the sludge and detritus that nobody cares to notice. The world I was born into was dark and suffocating. The surface above seemed unreachable, and the air around me was still and oppressive. My siblings and I hatched into a world of nothingness. No shelter, no warmth, no nurturing care. The water was cold and murky, but survival instincts were quick to awaken within me. I didn't know what awaited me outside the egg, but I knew it would be dangerous, and I knew my life would be a battle from the very beginning. The moment I broke free from my shell, the world was harsh and loud. I didn't have wings yet. My tiny body was covered in the soft, wet skin, and my legs could barely carry me. The water around me seemed so vast, like an endless ocean. I could hear the hum of mosquitoes flying overhead, a reminder of what I had yet to become. The world felt enormous, and my movements were clumsy. I swam in the murky waters, trying to find my footing in this strange new world. It was a fight to stay afloat, and every flicker of movement sent a rush of panic through my body. The reality of being small and helpless hit me right away. I wasn't safe anywhere. As the days passed, I grew stronger. My wings began to form, and my body hardened. But the world around me was filled with enemies. Predators lurked at every corner. Birds, frogs, and larger insects would swoop down to snatch me out of the air or trap me in their webs. I was not safe anywhere. The harsh winds of the world constantly tried to blow me off course, push me away from safety. But in the midst of this, I learned the art of survival. I learned to hide in the smallest crevices, to take shelter in the darkness of night, and to wait for the right moment to feed. I became a master of patience. Survival wasn't about brute strength. It was about waiting, about knowing when to fly and when to stay still. The real battle was against time, against the elements, and against the many creatures that wanted to end my life. Hunger gnawed at me. I needed blood. It wasn't just a hunger. It was a craving. A primal need to sustain myself and my species. I didn't have a choice in this. My purpose was simple: to live, to feed, and to pass on my genes. But the world I lived in was anything but easy. Finding a host was like playing a dangerous game. The wind would carry scents and I would follow, circling through the air, searching for the faintest trace of blood. It wasn't always easy. Sometimes the scent would lead me to nothing. Or worse, to a trap. Humans would set up their protective barriers, or birds would wait, ready to snatch me out of the air. Every time I flew, there was a risk. Every time I fed, there was a chance I wouldn't make it back. Yet, I had to do it. This was my life. There was no other choice. The real threat was never the predators of the sky or the ground. The true danger came from those who didn't even notice me. Humans. They polluted the air I breathed, the water I swam in, and the very earth beneath me. Every piece of trash, every chemical spill, every plastic bottle left behind was another obstacle to my survival. Their machines buzzed and hummed, drowning out the sounds of nature, and their chemicals made the air so hard to breathe. I didn't understand why they did it. Why did they destroy everything they didn't even know existed? My world was shrinking, and the spaces I could fly in grew smaller with each passing day. I had to adapt, to survive. But every day I felt like I was losing. The more I tried to thrive, the more the world pushed back. Humans were my enemy, but I wasn't even a part of their world. I was invisible to them. When I found a host, it was the only time I felt a fleeting sense of peace. As I sank my needle-like mouthpart into the skin of my host, I could feel their warmth, the blood pulsing beneath their skin. It was a rush, but also a relief. For a few moments, I was free from the constant danger around me. It was the only time I felt truly alive. I would hover, suspended in midair, my wings buzzing softly, and all the chaos around me would fade. It was just me, the blood, and the satisfaction of survival. But the peace never lasted.
As soon as I finished, I would be off again, searching for the next source of blood, and the cycle would begin anew. Flying wasn't easy. My wings were constantly battered by the wind, pushing me off course, forcing me to fight against the current. Every time I took flight, I knew I was vulnerable. A sudden swoop of a bird, the quick snap of a frog's tongue, or the swing of a human's hand were all it took to end my life. I had to be swift, careful, and alert. The moment I stopped paying attention was the moment I wouldn't make it. Every flight was a fight for survival. I had no time to enjoy the freedom of the sky. Every flap of my wings was a desperate attempt to stay alive. I was small, fragile, and fleeting, but I had to keep moving. I had no other choice. Eventually, my time came. I didn't know when, but I knew it was inevitable. Every life comes to an end, and I knew my death would come at the hands of something stronger, faster, or more prepared. Perhaps it would be a bird that caught me in midair, or perhaps it would be the slow suffocation from the pollution that surrounded me. The truth was, I had no control over it. I was just another insect, another creature that would live its short life and then vanish. There was no legacy to leave behind, no grand purpose, no meaning to my existence. I was just part of the endless cycle of life and death. I had done what I could to survive, but in the end, it wasn't enough. The world was too big, too dangerous, and too hostile. My existence, my struggle would be forgotten. In the last moments of my life, I thought about my purpose. I never asked to be born, never chose my path, never understood the reasons for my existence. All I knew was survival. I lived to feed, to avoid death, and to continue the cycle. But as I neared the end, I wondered, did it matter? Was there any purpose to this endless fight for survival? I had never been given a choice, and I had never known peace. My existence had been nothing more than a struggle, a constant search for food and safety. But as I felt my wings slow, my life slipping away, I realized that perhaps that was enough. I had lived. And in this world, sometimes just living was all you could do. We are often forgotten, dismissed as pests, as nuisances, as creatures of little worth. But every life matters. Just because we are small and fleeting doesn't mean we have no value. In our struggle, in our fight to survive, we share the same instincts, the same will to live as any other creature. Our existence is no less important than any other's. And so, I leave this final thought with you. Respect all life. For in every living thing, no matter how small, there's a purpose, a will, a fight to survive. We are all part of this world, and we must protect it, for the future of all creatures depends on it.